Hi, everybody. Welcome to Speak Portuguese with Adriana. I am Adriana, your Portuguese teacher. In this video, I will show you in very important years a very summary from Brazil history. As I told you in a couple of videos, I think it was the first video here on Speak Portuguese with Adriana, I told you when you learn a language, you will learn the history of the country, the culture, the politics, everything together. The idea of this video is just show you a very important years to understand Brazil today. I'm recording today. It's very, very, very hot today here in Vienna. I had to turn out the air conditioner. If you're hearing this sound, excuse me, but it's really, really, really hot. And for sure, if you're interested to learn Brazilian Portuguese, please subscribe to this channel. We have already 2 lessons. Another lessons are coming soon here on Speak Portuguese with Adriana. And let's begin. So, Brazil in important historical years and summary. Brazil in important historic years summary. 15,000 discovery of Brazil or Portugal, the colonial Brazilian, divided in colonial economic cycles, and we have 1888, end of slavery in Brazil, 1889, proclamation of republic, 1964, military coup, in 1989, period of redemocratization. Sorry, I used to speak English much better, but after many years living in Austria, because of German, sometimes not coming so good. I'm sorry about that. So, democratization to the present. As I told you, it's just to give you years and very important things that happened in Brazil history. And we are beginning with the 15,000 discovery of Brazil was officially discovered by Portugal in the mark and beginning of European presence and exploration of the territory. And the first cycle, we can consider in that way, was the exploitation of the Brazil wood, o pau-brasil, here is a photo, and where coming the name of Brazil, for example. That's our considered first cycle, or many people consider the sugarcane cycle and the pau-brasil cycle together. As I told you already, the economy was based on cycles of exploration of natural resources, with mainly Brazil wood, sugarcane, and gold. And we have the second cycle, there's a sugarcane cycle, beginning from 1530 until 1619, establishment of sugarcane. Here we have a photo. To guarantee the occupation of the territory, Portugal established sugarcane plantations, mainly in the northwest. Due to the failure of attempts to enslave indigenous populations, the economy was based on the first labor of enslaved people brought from Africa. It's a very difficult period of time in Brazil, or the period of history of our history. And Salvador was the first capital of Brazil and the main port of entry of enslaved Africans destined for sugar mills. And the second cycle is the gold cycle, decline of sugar. The sugar economy declined at the end of the 17th century due to the competition from Dutch sugar mills in the West Indies. In 1693, Antônio Rodrigues Arção discovered gold in Minas Gerais. By the end of this presentation, I'll show in the map various states in Brazil. And shifting the economic axis, the colony from northwest to the center-south. 73, Brazil signed the Methuen Treaty with England. Much of gold transferred to Portugal was actually used to pay the Portugal's external debt to English. 1763, the capital was transferred from Salvador to Rio de Janeiro to facilitate the export of gold extracted from the mines. And the capital, now Brasilia, was inaugurated in 1960. And the last cycle, the coffee cycle, and the arrival of the Portuguese royal family. 1888, with the arrival of the Portuguese royal family, Rio de Janeiro coffee cultivation, we have here a little photo from Café, began to expand to Paraíba Valley, becoming the new economic engine. The Portuguese royal family remained in Rio de Janeiro for 13 years, fleeing Napoleon's troops. They returned to Portugal 1821. Early 9th century transition and independence. So we told already the 1888, 1822, Brazil declared its independence, formally aiding its status as a colony of Portugal. 1888, end of slavery, the abolition of slavery occurred with the signing of the Golden Law, a Lei Áurea, aiding centuries of forced labor and enslaved people. In Brazil, we have a photo here. In 1889, proclamation of the Republic and of Empire of Brazil with the deposition of the Dom Pedro II or Dom Pedro II and the transition to Republic regime. 1964, military coup, the beginning of the authoritarian regime that lasted until 1985, characterized by the suppression of political rights and strong state control. In 1989 to the present, redemocratization period of the consolidation of democracy in Brazil, market of the promulgation of our new constitution from 1988 and holding of direct president elections. And we are going to have the general elections this year in October. It's going to be a very stressful time to Brazil, but we are going to discuss about this in another video. So that's it. The idea is just give you some highlights in a very important years from Brazilian history. And before I finish this video, I would like to show you a map here. Google Maps, that's Brazil. That's the states. We have 27 states and Brasilia as a capital. Brasilia is here. Is capital since 1960. And the first capital was here, Salvador. Here in Northwest, when you have the sugarcane plantation. After that, here in Minas Gerais, I'm talking. And here in Minas Gerais state, they discovered gold and they transferred the capital from Salvador to Rio de Janeiro to bring to the gold to Europe. And Rio de Janeiro remained the capital of Brazil until 1960. And we have the coffee cycle or coffee plantation cycle. And here, in this, here, we are having huge coffee plantation, and we have the coffee plantation until today. Brazil, it's very known because of coffee. So that's it. The idea here was just show you in a very condensed and a very summary Brazilian history. So that's it. The idea here was just show you in a very summary way the Brazilian history. We are going to return a couple of topics here on Speak Portuguese with Adriana, but our first video about the Brazilian history, as I told you, when you learn a language, you're learning together the history of the country. That's very important in my point of view. So that's it. If you're interested to learn Brazilian Portuguese, please subscribe to this channel, and I see you soon on Speak Portuguese with Adriana. Thank you very much. Muito obrigada.